What's up? It's time for another Bills report. And we got to talk about how our rookie class fared in the AFC East. Obviously, multiple teams in there, multiple levels of draft picks and productivity. So it's only appropriate that we look to see how we stacked it up or how we stacked up against some of the competition from a drafting perspective. We know that's one of those things that we're going to need to start hitting on more of these draft picks, man, and keeping those things becoming more productive players for cheap labor, especially now that the contracts are starting to get a little bit more costly when you're talking Josh Allen and company like that, man. So we're definitely gonna have to be buttoned up even better going forward. But first off, man, the NFL, they gave the New York Jets, they were the first team they rated in the division, at A minus. Now, for just to remember who they had, round one, the fourth overall pick, they had Sauce Gardner, Defensive Player of the Year. Their number two pick was the 10th overall selection, wide receiver Garrett Wilson, who was the Offensive Player of the Year. Offensive Rookie of the Year. So you got the Offensive Rookie of the Year and the Defensive Rookie of the Year, which are back-to-back picks for the Jets. All right, pick 26 was their third pick. So they had 3 picks in the first round, 3 picks in the top 30. Jermaine Johnson, the second, the DN, so he played for them as well. Then we obviously know in the second round, Breece Hall was their running back prior to him getting hurt. Then third round, Jeremy Rockert. Fourth round, Max Mitchell played a little bit for them. Michael Clemens as well came in at a D tackle. And then a notable free agent that they had was Zonovan Wright, running back for them, man. Had a couple starts once Breece Hall went down. Next up, they had the Buffalo Bills, obviously, the squad, the gang, C+ on the grade here. Now, obviously, we know who we had, 23rd overall, Kaiir Elam. Mixed bag, right? Didn't play as much, but was effective and definitely finished the season extremely strong, man. Definitely like what I was saying from him in the postseason. Similar thing can be said with our second round pick, 63rd overall selection, James Cook, running back. We know what he was able to do. Started off rocky with the first touch being a fumble, but hey, how that thing ended, man, we definitely like that. He also came on strong for us in the postseason. Third round pick, we had Terrell Bernard. We obviously know he was more special teams and rotational type guy for us. And then in the fifth round, Khalil Shakir, man, he definitely picked it up for us as well postseason late down the year. Round 6, mixed bag right here. We know with Matt Araiza, that whole scenario, man, he's no longer with us. Then Christian Benford, cornerback, man, he played a good amount of time for us down the stretch as well. Shout out to him. And obviously the last pick that we had in the 6th round was Luke Tenuta. Played 3 games, but obviously he's not with us anymore. He's out in Green Bay now. And then our final pick, 7th rounder, Violent Spector, man. So when we look at our class, early on, I thought we hit. I thought Kaiir Elam, even though we didn't get the start that we would want with him coming here, still was a very productive player for us, and especially down the stretch, man, was able to get some turnovers in the regular season, but more importantly, get turnovers in the postseason where it matters the most. He is definitely somebody that I'm excited to see continue to grow because, man, you thinking about that dynamic, him with Trey White, that could be special, man, especially what we were seeing from him down the stretch. So definitely intrigued to see what we can get from him. Same could be said about James Cook, though. This dude really added another element to our game. We just wanted to be featured a little bit more. And that's something that obviously Ken Dorsey is going to have to, go back in his bag, in his lab, and so to speak, recalibrate. Because we did become way too heavy-handed on relying upon Josh. And it was just really elementary style runs whenever we tried to allow James to run it. And if he didn't make something special happen, it was just like, we're not even going to entertain this again. But I think if we could just be more strategic and more intentional with James, man, I definitely think that we could get a lot more productivity out of him. And obviously with Khalil Shakir, man, he's another dude for us, man, that I thought could, really heat it up for us at the wide receiver position. We're still going to probably draft somebody higher in that wide receiver room, or even go out there in the free agency market and spend a little bit. But more importantly, man, we're going to need to rely on Khalil because, like we talked about, man, with the way these contracts starting to go and the way the money is starting to hit now from our cap standpoint, we're not going to have a lot of disposable income to just go out here and spin in free agency. We're going to have some of these draft picks really take that next step. And Terrell Bernard, he's another guy, man. He's going to potentially have an opportunity to compete for a starting spot, man. We know with Edmonds potentially leaving in free agency, Bernard's going to have a chance to see if he can, be that guy to kind of calm that interior part of this defense. But like I said, definitely excited about our class right here. But a C+, not really feeling that great, but I can understand it. But we'll keep going. Next up, we have the New England Patriots ranked behind us with a C. First round pick, number 29th overall, Cole Strange. Started 17 games for them dudes, played really well. Second round pick, 50th overall was Tyquan Thornton. He's a good receiver. To me, I think that, he was more of a combine darling. When he put out there and ran that crazy time, you see him on his college tape, wasn't as productive, but the clock showed him blazing speed. They took him a little early, but he's still a good player, man. But I think he could definitely be. I think that's going to be one of those ones that hurts them a little bit than more so than helps them. At the third round pick, Marcus Jones, DB. Had a couple starts for them, man. It was decent. Fourth round, this is where it got nice though, man. Jack Jones, I definitely liked him, even though it got weird down the stretch with how they utilized him. Obviously, he got in trouble with them. Pierre Strong and then Bailey Zappi. Shout out to Bailey Zappi. Came in there and helped them out one of them little Thursday night games, man. Sixth round, they went Kevin Harris, Sam Roberts, and then Chasen Hines, and then the seventh, Andrew Stuber. Not a ton of sexy picks in their class. Jack Jones, obviously really good DB. Bailey Zappi showed that he could be potentially a good backup quarterback. Cole Strange, I thought, was a good player. Like I said, Tyquan, man, is he going to be a number one or is he just a number two, number three receiver? That's going to be the real question with him. But as a whole, man, let's see if him is appropriate. I mean, first off, it's the Pats, so you can really get him an F, because that's how I feel about them. But I digress. And then the last group, or the last graded group in the AFC East rankings for the rookie class, Miami Dolphins, they gave them a C-. It's appropriate when you think about the fact they didn't have a first or second round pick. All of that gone with the Tyreek Hill trade. So their first pick was in the third round, 102 selection, was a Channing Tindall, the linebacker out of Georgia. Mainly just play special teams for those guys. But he's one of those dudes, when you watched his college tape, man, crazy athletic, raw ability, plays hard as heck, but he's going to need time to evolve and learn the game. Not all the way there just yet. But hey, that's a them problem, not a us problem. That's how we squish the fish consistently, baby. Remember that. In the fourth round, they went with Eric, butcher his name real quick, Ezukanama. Yeah, that guy. Played one game for him, not a lot of productivity. Seventh round, they went Cameron Good, Skylar Thompson, who obviously we saw multiple times. We saw in the postseason directly head to head, and he was able to do some things. When you can get a value like that in the seventh round, 247th selection, you're flirting with Mr. Irrelevant territory anyways. So with that, man, yeah, for them to have productivity, yeah, you got to salute that. And then they had two really nice free agency pickups, Cater Kahu and Verone McKinley III, man. Both of those dudes gave him some productivity, man. Some starts, especially at the cornerback room, man, for Cater. So, man, definitely thought that was good. But like you said, man, the way when I look at these draft classes, it's a no-brainer the Jets got an A-. Me personally, I give them an A+ because of you got the offensive rookie of the year and the defensive rookie of the year in your back-to-back picks. You hit on 4th and 10. Like, that's crazy. And both of those dudes do look bona fide. And you know how we feel about those bums over there anyways. But now those two dudes are nice. Breece Hall, he was another guy that was on pace to potentially get Offensive Rookie of the Year prior to him turning the ACL. And then, man, you get some value up front, man. Max Mitchell, I kind of like his game a little bit based on what he was doing in college and some of the stuff that he did, with his handful of starts this season. So, like I said, I definitely thought that they had a really, really solid class. But you look at where they were picking, they had a higher grouping of talent pool to pull from. Whereas when you talk about us, we're picking at 23. Kyer, he wasn't going to be asked to come in here and be the man. Now, granted, we knew that Trey White was coming back from an injury, so that was part of the mindset. But it never felt like, man, we didn't have any other option outside of Kyer. And I thought that, that is kind of why we were able to roll him out as slowly as we did. But when you look at what he was able to do down the stretch, James Cook, another really good player for us throughout the season. Yeah, I think it was appropriate for us to get a C+. I kind of give my hometown biases and throw the B on it just because James Cook was one of our guys. Like, we know Singletary was still the main back, but I thought that James definitely evolved, and he has us excited. And that excitement, that optimism is the biggest reason why I lean more towards upgrading it versus downgrading it. And the same with Khalil Shakir, man. I think that he is another one of those guys that you see some of the potential. You can see some of the flash, especially late in the year. And I put more onus on the late in the year stuff because that's when it's more competitive. That's when it's a lot more tape out there on you. That's when your body is nowhere near 100% healthy. But we also know the stakes are way higher. when you lose in December, in January, it's over. And to see these guys, man, to be able to come out and make plays the way that they were doing down the stretch during that time frame, that's why I lean a little bit more to bumping them up. But those are my thoughts on the AFC East rookie class draft grades from the 2022 season. You guys let me know your thoughts, though, man. Did the NFL get it right? Jets being at 1, Buffalo at 2, Patriots at 3, and then Dolphins at 4. Do you think you would have mixed it up? And do you think the C+ grade for Buffalo was appropriate? Either way, you know I appreciate you for tuning in. And until next time, baby, peace.